Doesn't get much easier than this. This is actually a plantation of walnut timber. There's a lot of these around my area that people plant these walnut trees. 99% of the time, they do not amount to anything. Been a minute or two since we've made a video. It's been pretty slow here the last couple weeks. We've had some just horrible weather. And even right now, we didn't have much of a snowstorm, not near like they were calling for last week, but enough to make things pretty nasty. It's like it's supposed to be up in the 60s today. I think it's 55 right now, is what the truck says. We're hauling a skid steer down here to a new job. So this is pretty close to the log yard here. This is north of Stockton. This is for the Hammond's Products Company. If you've ever picked up black walnuts as a kid, chances are they've ended up back here in Stockton, Missouri at Hammond's Products Company. And what they've got down here is called the Plantation, which I've been by this place, been on it several times growing up. But they planted walnut trees here a long, long time ago. My dad said even when he was a kid, like, this deal was kind of up and going. But some of these trees have gotten big enough to start harvesting, and that's what they're doing. So they put it out for bid. We won the bid on it, and now we're going to cut this block of them. I think there's 232 trees. And the thing with these trees down here, they're just lumber grade trees. I know that going into it. They actually did mark some native trees in this cell aside from the planted, but a lot of these trees down here are real sappy, and you'll see that tomorrow when we start cutting. It's so wet right now we can't get anything out, but luckily the gentleman that manages the Shonef for him and I graduated high school together. Good guy. We can go in here, like I told him, we're just going to cut and get trees on the ground while it's wet. We're not going to try to drag them out till it dries up a little bit, and once it dries, it should go pretty fast because no underbrush. The trees are planted up in rows just like plantation timber. This will be the closest thing to a plantation I've ever got to cut, but when it dries, we'll come in here, we'll get them out, get them back to the yard. Go. And they've got some pine up here, and from my days of forestry and FFA, for the life of me, I don't remember how to identify pine as far as long leaf, short leaf, all that, because growing up, pine timber is not something that we cut because it's really not native to our area. We don't have much pine timber, sorry, it was bad grammar. We don't have very much pine timber. What is here is just kind of stuff that people have planted like this here. No native right here in our area. All hardwood. I guess those are good looking big pine trees. Couldn't tell you. Don't know much about them. Probably going to need to put that on this road pretty quick. Doesn't look like much now, does it? But I promise you, once you get up here and duck down over the hill, it goes into the river bottom. And this is what we call Big Cedar down here growing up, Big Cedar Creek. We call it Big Cedar because Horse Creek, another creek in the area, we probably made some videos cutting on, runs into it way back up river. And once Horse Creek runs in, we always call it Big Cedar. And then just right down here, actually, we're at the end of the property, that's where Cedar Creek runs into Sac River. A lot of fishing goes on down in this part of the world. I used to do a lot of gigging down here, and did a lot of fishing with our hands down here, if you guys know what I'm talking about there. Now, I love getting to work close to home anymore. Always have, but you know, we work in places that are so far off most of the time from where I grew up here. It's always nice to get to work close to home. And the thing about it is, a lot of this ground, living here all my life, you've known who's owned it, you know, and you've known probably past owners of a lot of ground. This place here is what we always call the Doc Cowan place. I used to drink coffee with the gentleman that owned that. Used to go fishing with him up at Truman Lake even. He was a great guy. He passed away. It's been almost 14 years ago now. Kirby's been gone, but I sure enjoyed being around Kirby as a kid. He was a funny old guy like most of them are, but that's a beautiful farm right there. We've got the 24 model 333. As you know, our older one. That's just kind of a dedicated mulching unit. And we're just going to pull in here and we're going to unload right here. So it's sloppy. And there's no way we could run the skidder through here, get the trucks in, because we would bury things. We don't want to rut anything up per contract. So this is all under contract here. So there's some stipulations that go into this, and it seems like we've been buying more of the bid timber here lately, and that's something I didn't normally used to even mess with, but there's just been some stuff come up lately that's kind of piqued my interest, and we've bid on it, and lo and behold, we've been the high bidders, or the first losers, however you want to look at it. Got this thing kicked off and parked. Then we're going to go hook up to the big panel behind the Star and go get the 12 model 648 and get it home and take the other one to another job I'll tell you about. If you've ever picked up walnuts as a kid, broke your back and stained your hands, most of those walnuts end up back here at Stockton, Missouri, to Hammond's Products Company. They are the world's largest buyer and supplier of eastern black walnuts, and they own a lot of land like this here, where years and years and years and years ago they planted these trees, and in the last 5 or 6 years they've started to harvest some of them. This is a big tract of land. This is several hundred acres, literally thousands upon thousands of walnut trees down here. And this block we're doing now, I think we bought 232 on this bid. Like I said, it was a bid deal. We were the high bidders on it. These are surprisingly pretty good trees, and more times than not, trees like this cut real sappy. These are really, they're not really anything out of the ordinary for the area as far as sap, but these are probably the better trees down here in this low bottom. Cedar Creek's right here behind me, kind of makes a horseshoe bend here. Low bottom, a lot of good trees. We're basically cutting this whole block out here, but these are the better trees of the job. There is some native trees towards the top from a native stand, but these are all planted. Good sized trees, mainly just lumber. And as wet as it is, we're just using the skid steer right now to pack them up. We don't have to clean up any brush, anything like that. They're taking care of all that per contract. And we're just getting these up here right now, trying to make a hand. Hopefully it dries out the next few days, because it's pretty nasty right now. It's all planted in rows. No veneer, just a good set of lumber. Stuff like that's Mark II. We'll just get it down. I don't even think we can salvage anything out of that. Pretty unique job. It's one day that sap's really coming up in these trees. These in here are cutting a little better than I thought they would. They're gonna yield out a little better than I thought they would too, I think. Kenny's on the skid steer. Luckily, we don't have to do any kind of cleanup. That was nice. We did move some tops around in several places, though. As you can see, we tried to directionally fall everything and what we could. It's a planted grove of trees, or it was. And some of them are surprisingly pretty good. We've seen a lot of what we call plantations or walnut orchards in the area. And this is by far the best producing orchard we've seen, but this is by a company that specializes in walnut and walnut production too, so they kind of know their stuff when it comes to trees. This is, I don't know how many harvests they've done out of here over the years, not very many. This is only, we might have cut here one other time. I was awful young when Dad and Kenny cut here, but I think I was here. I think I was maybe just out of high school or still in high school. But, pretty neat. There's some good timber on this place. There's been some great timber cut off this place. But you can see here, this is a big cedar, and it runs down not very far to the mouth of its, where it's in the Sac River. So, good dirt. Those good trees.